The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene is a self-help book offering advice on how to gain and maintain power, using lessons drawn from parables and the experiences of historical figures. Power depends on the relationships between a person and those he or she seeks to control. Powerful people must cultivate their appearances to earn respect and eliminate doubt. They must practice selective honesty, misdirection, and an excess of secrecy to gain a tactical advantage. Timing is central to maintaining power, as is the ability to adapt. The array of strategies available when seeking power include mirroring the opponent's actions and controlling the opponent's options for action. The powerful must also cultivate a relationship with audiences by creating spectacles and feeding their need to believe in the impossible. In some cases, courtiers represent the ideal models for how to acquire power and handle enemies. Other models of the strategies of power include generals of ancient Eastern and Western military history, famous confidence men, and entertainers. The laws of power can also be reversed in order to achieve results in situations that demand unconventional strategies. For example, while it is generally best to appear less intelligent than the target of a manipulation, intimidating someone with intelligence can accomplish what feigned ignorance could not. Key takeaways. 1. In order to cultivate relationships that increase their power, people seeking power should force others to come to them, never allow others to become independent of them, avoid anyone who frequently encounters misfortune, never place too much trust in any one person, and never outperform their superiors. 2. People seeking power should mimic the courtier's ability to flatter the most powerful and thwart rivals. They should make no definite commitments to anyone, but avoid becoming isolated and appeal to others' self-interest when asking for help. 3. Appearances are vital to the powerful, so they should never attract envy or step into the role of another great person. Instead, the powerful should act like royalty, make accomplishments seem effortless, and safeguard reputation while cultivating terror in others. 4. The powerful can practice selective honesty, place blame on others, appear more naive than the people they wish to manipulate, act like a friend in order to gain information, and imitate others to conceal radical thinking. 5. Secrecy preserves power, which can be cultivated by concealing intentions and being conspicuously, temporarily absent. 6. The powerful must learn the art of timing decisions to maximize results, and they must know when to end a campaign after victory. 7. Adaptability is a key tool for power, so people seeking power should learn to be shapeless, to recreate themselves as needed, and to accept surrender to gain time and resources for a comeback. 8. Strategies that benefit the powerful include mirroring the opponent's actions, attacking the one point that holds the opponent's forces together, remaining calm while stirring up anger, finding and exploiting weaknesses, and planning all the way to the end of the campaign. 9. Other strategies for the powerful are acting boldly, concentrating energies on one task, tailoring the attack to the target, winning through action rather than argument, and totally eliminating the enemy. 10. The powerful attract followers who must be managed as audiences, with spectacles and appeals to hold the attention of hearts and minds, replacing logical persuasion. Followers' needs for fantasy and belief in something should be cultivated, although the person in power should not push followers too far toward change. 11. The powerful spend their own money, accept nothing for free, and look down on anything they cannot have in order to preserve power. The best strategy for achieving power is to get others to do one's own. Key takeaway 1. In order to cultivate relationships that increase their power, people seeking power should force others to come to them, never allow others to become independent of them, avoid anyone who frequently encounters misfortune, Never place too much trust in any one person, and never outperform their superiors. Analysis. Fundamental to power is never to upstage one's master, because outperforming a superior can cause that superior to eliminate anyone they view to be subverting their power. Avoiding being eliminated requires making that superior rely on one's help. Misfortune is contagious, so cultivate relationships only with the successful. Rather than being summoned by anyone, maintain a dominant position by forcing people to come to ask for help if they want attention or need something. Never place too much trust in anyone, even friends, because there is always the possibility that they will betray that trust to gain power for themselves. For example, if someone were in the running for a position of power in a company, she might think the best strategy is to outperform superiors and point out their flaws in order to prove that she would be a more qualified choice. She might confide in employees she supervises to gain their support, putting her trust in people who may also be interested in personal advancement. Or she might neglect her duties to her superiors, who would start to view her as a threat that could be fired without losing an indispensable source of help. She might be very willing to go to the hiring director and seem too eager to please, which would make her seem desperate. In an environment where everyone's interests ultimately depend on the company's productivity, she might be the most qualified choice to be promoted, but the self-interest of her superiors, team members, and the hiring director would cost her the position. A willingness to appear interested and available for the job, which women might prefer to seeming aloof and too important for a promotion, could be one reason women are promoted less frequently than men. Key takeaway 2. People seeking power should mimic the courtier's ability to flatter the powerful and thwart rivals. They should make no definite commitments to anyone, but avoid becoming isolated and appeal to others' self-interest when asking for help. Analysis. The courtier represents the perfect balance of apparent obedience to those in power while waging a power war against rivals behind the scenes. According to this model, gaining power requires making no commitments to anyone and avoiding entanglements that prevent one from pursuing the best course of action at a given time. Anyone seeking power should avoid becoming isolated, as this will cause a loss of followers' trust or interest. The best way to seek help from others is to make situations relevant to their immediate self-interests, not with vague or abstract arguments about the greater good or past obligations. In the present day, there are few environments where monarchs are still attended by courtiers, but there are still plenty of circumstances where the powerful are courted by individuals seeking power. The political sphere is populated by people who seek to gain power by aligning themselves with those who have already gained power by being elected or appointed to a position. These are strategies also used by Lady Macbeth in the play Macbeth by William Shakespeare. She convinces Thane Macbeth to assassinate King Duncan in order to become king, making it appear to be his idea all along and minimizing her apparent role to avoid guilt. She becomes indispensable to the new king by mitigating suspicion of his actions, and she continues to control his actions to increase his power and her own. Key takeaway 3. Appearances are vital to the powerful, so they should never attract envy or step into the role of another great person. Instead, the powerful should act like royalty, make accomplishments seem effortless, and safeguard reputation while cultivating terror in others. Analysis. Whether someone earns respect depends on their reputation, more so than the quality of their work or ideas. A confidence artist with a reputation for scams doesn't get much work, while a general with a reputation for ruthlessness would intimidate people without needing to behave with cruelty. This means that the challenge of succeeding a person with a storied legacy is too great to be practical, and will most likely lead to disappointment. Maintaining the appearance that earns respect requires never appearing to work very hard and acting like a person deserving of respect without cultivating envy. The appearance of unpredictability can also accomplish a useful kind of fearful respect. A businessman looking to accomplish a significant acquisition of a competitor would find it useful to have a reputation for honesty and relentlessness. To cultivate that image, he would act like a person deserving of the reputation he seeks by upholding policies that relate to his value of honesty, and hold his employees to high standards of truth and persistence. In negotiations with a competitor, the businessman's reputation for honesty would assure that the competitor's representatives feel that they are being dealt with fairly. Meanwhile, his reputation for persistence would foster the belief that if they back away from the negotiations, the businessman will find other ways to take the competitor off the market. Since it is useful to be unpredictable and intimidating in negotiations, the businessman would also make unconventional demands and find ways to unbalance the negotiating tables for his advantage. Key takeaway 4. The powerful can practice selective honesty, place blame on others, appear more naive than the people they wish to manipulate, act like a friend in order to gain information, and imitate others to conceal radical thinking. Analysis. Being powerful does not require the utmost commitment to honesty, and powerful people gain an advantage by being willing to use honesty and generosity to their benefit. They should almost always seem more ignorant than the people they manipulate, so that their targets feel in control of the situation. Behaving like a friend, or like a conformer, makes others more comfortable and less likely to notice that someone does not support them or is seeking information. In business and politics, honesty is notoriously hard to come by, but in the cases of contract law, use of public money, and the use of company money, dishonesty can result in criminal charges. Lying about these things is inadvisable, but there are other ways to be selectively honest while increasing power in these two spheres. First, a businesswoman might be honest in contract dealings but omit promises and clauses that would require her to disclose competing interests, to conceal the fact that she is also working for a competitor. She would benefit from consulting for one company and being able to conceal her commitment to another, or working for one company while agitating for the leadership to be replaced. If she appeared to be smarter than her supervisors or clients, they might suspect she had an ulterior motive. So her best strategy is to appear newer to the field and more trusting than anyone with whom she works. Key takeaway 5. Secrecy preserves power, which can be cultivated by concealing intentions and being conspicuously, temporarily absent. Analysis. In some cases, leaving a position of power or being temporarily absent from it increases respect, because it emphasizes confidence and highlights others' dependence. Concealing intentions, of course, is paramount because a great advantage in a conflict is unpredictability. For example, if a public official wanted to demonstrate how important he was to the smooth functioning of local government, he might consider scheduling his vacation for a time when others are unlikely to think his assistance is as important as it truly is. If he successfully made himself as vital to the process in his department as he hoped, employees would accept that he is leaving for the vacation, but soon realize that nothing can be accomplished without him. If, sometime in the future, someone else has threatened to fire the public official, the employees in his department would advocate for his work and fear what would happen if he were permanently unavailable. Key takeaway 6. The powerful must learn the art of timing decisions to maximize results, and they know when to end a campaign after victory. Analysis. Timing is essential to power because exercising power at the wrong time can result in catastrophe, while deploying power at the right time can increase power and success. Timing can involve the proper hour and location for strategic action, but it can also relate to avoiding both hesitation and hurry, which undermine respect and authority. Once victory has been accomplished, the powerful should know when to quit the game and prevent that victory from being reversed. In business decision-making, timing can make or destroy a company. A hiring decision at the right time can bring a needed infusion of new ideas and human capital at a moment when expansion is most possible. The same hire at the wrong time can upset established hierarchies, bring an ambitious person into an environment where ambition is punished, or bankrupt the company on daring new opportunities. For example, as CEO of Hewlett-Packard, Carly Fiorina had the opportunity to advance the company by merging with competitor Compaq. However, doing so required a round of layoffs of HP employees. By most standards, her time at HP was a benefit to the company because she doubled the company's revenue and nearly doubled the number of employees following several mergers. However, after a sudden drop in performance, the board forced her to resign. The forced resignation and layoffs continued to damage her reputation during her run for President of the United States in 2016. Key Takeaway 7. Adaptability is a key tool for power, so people seeking power should learn to be shapeless, to recreate themselves as needed, and to accept surrender to gain time and resources for a comeback. Analysis. Rigidity can be costly, whereas adaptability allows a person to become whatever the situation requires. One situation might require ruthless action and the appearance of dangerous unpredictability, but another situation might require congeniality and conspiratorial cooperation, so it behooves power seekers to be able to adopt both manners. One strategy that requires a lot of adaptability is to accept defeat and the loss of power that comes with it in order to gather forces and resources to retake that power. Adaptation is required in every profession that involves power. In politics, a politician might begin a campaign breaking ties with former allies to set herself apart from other candidates. Later in the campaign, she might begin regaining those ties that would help her gain support for her candidacy. For example, when Hillary Clinton ran for the Democratic Party presidential nomination against Barack Obama, they accused each other of running negative campaigns and lacking the needed qualifications or perspective for the job. Later, after Obama secured the nomination, he chose to appoint Clinton as Secretary of State. Working in the same administration, they could no longer afford to undermine each other and needed to adapt if they were both to continue to consolidate their respective power. Key Takeaway 8. Strategies that benefit the powerful include mirroring the opponent's actions, attacking the one point that holds the opponent's forces together, remaining calm while stirring up anger, finding and exploiting weaknesses, and planning all the way to the end of the campaign. Analysis. Gaining power requires an array of strategies to hold on to power while upsetting those who are more powerful. A strategy like mirroring prevents the opponent from observing one's intentions, and attacking the center of the organization can disperse its resources faster than reducing its numbers. A strategist can make use of someone else's anger while remaining calm, making the opponent appear reckless or irrational. Everyone has a weakness to exploit, and the challenge is to find it. Strategists should remember that they are planning for the long range, not just for the immediate battle. In politics, using these strategies could involve mimicking an opponent's tone and attacks, thereby co-opting the opponent's arguments for the moral high ground. A politician could also find the most useful aide or consultant in the opponent's organization and offer him or her more money to join his organization instead, creating chaos in the opponent's campaign. In debate, the politician could hit on his opponent's weakness in his reputation and remain calm as that attack incurs the opponent's anger on stage. His plans for the campaign should extend to the election day and beyond, ensuring that he is never left without an action or plan in a vital moment. Key Takeaway 9. Other strategies for the powerful are acting boldly, concentrating energies on one task, tailoring the attack to the target, winning through action rather than argument, and totally eliminating the enemy. Analysis. Acting without hesitation is key to increasing respect and inspiring fear in enemies. Resources are best used focused on a particular front or goal, rather than spread across an area too broad to allow them to be effective. Each target has its own strengths and weaknesses, so the attack should be customized to exploit the weaknesses and subvert the strengths. Power is best gained by acting rather than arguing. Leaving enemies alone after their defeat allows them to regain strength and return for revenge. So the best strategy is to either win them over or destroy them completely. A business strategy that incorporates these laws would involve assertive action in every circumstance, giving the investors and customers confidence when other companies might have hesitated. The business would focus its resources on a single market rather than expanding into other markets that might weaken its standing in the original market and its entrance into the new market. Rather than arguing that its product is the best available, the business would prove its product superiority, and it would not be satisfied by having a majority in the market, but would strive to be a monopoly, whether it required bankrupting the competition or buying it up. Telecommunications utilities sometimes practice this strategy by dominating an area and allowing the competition to monopolize other regions, giving customers no choices while asserting that they are provided the best service. These utilities do not branch into other utility markets, such as power or water, and have created a unique set of strategies that are tailored for the complicated legal framework around private utility providers. Similar strategies in the water or power utility markets would be unsustainable. Key Takeaway 10. The powerful attract followers who must be managed as audiences, with spectacles and appeals to hold the attention of hearts and minds, replacing logical persuasion. Followers' needs for fantasy and belief in something should be cultivated, although the person in power should not push followers too far toward change. Analysis. Great entertainers provide the best examples of how to attract and keep an audience, particularly by creating irresistible spectacles and using emotional appeals rather than logical arguments. The audience demands that its fantasies be fulfilled and that it be given something to believe in. Any kind of attention is good attention, even if the publicity seems negative, and a shrewd entertainer might stir up negative attention to respond when audiences are interested in the outcome. A powerful person might advocate for change, but should remember that people generally dislike too much change and will fight back when they feel threatened. It is common knowledge that newspapers and magazines that have controversial articles often sell out of those issues, and that some of the widest read periodicals are tabloids and daily news magazines that stir up negativity and make controversial allegations. Some of these articles feed the public's desire to believe that a conspiracy is behind the political elite, or fuel their fantasies that celebrities are deeply flawed and suffer behind the veneer of fame. Anything that represents too drastic a change in the status quo, however, can turn readers away. This would be the case if a partisan publication began attacking the party it had long supported. Key Takeaway 11. The powerful spend their own money, accept nothing for free, and look down on anything they cannot have in order to preserve power. The best strategy for achieving power is to get others to do one's own work. Analysis. The powerful never gain power by accepting favors, but they do gain power by giving favors that expect repayment. Being generous with money attracts followers as well. Those followers can also be used to do work that the powerful should not be seen doing, or which would reflect poorly if the work comes to no gain. An investor can benefit from these laws by buying things for herself or others to demonstrate wealth while refusing to accept gifts, which makes her seem incorruptible and too successful to be interested in gifts. She would not chase after clients who leave her in order to appear secure in her business, and she would not lament unsuccessful trades, arguing instead that she was testing the market for a new strategy or setting herself up for a more profitable transaction. She would make her work seem effortless by automating what she could and having assistants do the rest, providing her with useful scapegoats in case of disaster as well.